We played that clip of Tucker Carlson talking about. Here's Sean Hannity. Like there's nothing more, I think, sort of stunning than watching someone like Sean Hannity get righteous on behalf of a police killing victim and his family. Right? I mean, here's Sean Hannity. This guy. Just let's play this. This is clip number 15.
Note the Punisher lapel pin.
Jesus Christ!
What is the Punisher lapel pin? What is that?
Is that like a thin blue line Punisher lapel pin?
Oh,
or just an American flag?
Yeah.
Boy.
Oh, yeah. He's been like really doing up the, back in, this was really big in the early aughts was the flag lapel pin. In fact, if people go back and ever see that video of me getting almost ejected from the Republican convention in 2004, it is I was into wearing like multiple flag lapel pins. I wore I tried to lard them up so that I was more American because that became a big thing that John Kerry hadn't worn a flag lapel pin. Mm-hmm. And so I had like 6, 3 on each side. And one of them was given to me by a Social Security agent at the Democratic convention because he was psyched that Janine and I were there. And so he gave us a pin, and I didn't know. I just put it on because I was like, it's another flag pin. And when the Secret Service were about to throw me out, the guy stopped and saw the pin. And he said, "Where did you get that?" And I was like, "I got it from a Secret Service friend of mine at the DNC." And that's when they let me go. And he said, stay out of trouble. Because I had a sign. I had a sign that said, "I'm looking for a gay Republican." And was going around. But here is Sean Hannity wearing a pin that belies everything he's about to say. But it is like the definition of a dog whistle, right?
Unfortunately, that swift, decisive action is not stopping, of course, those that politicize everything, far-left Democrats, the media mob, and others from needlessly politicizing the tragedy. Maxine Waters hitting another new low, actually blaming the president for the tragedy. It's sickening. Here's a look at her remarks on TMZ. Take a look.
I'm reflecting on all of the killings of young black men in particular, but of course black women too, at the hands of the police. And at the hands of, these white supremacists. And I'm thinking about the way that the president conducts himself. In a way, he's dog whistling. And I think that they're feeling that they can get away with this kind of treatment.
Predictable, sad.
Pause it for 1 second. Pause it for 1 second. The reason I don't know if it was day 1 or day 25, but Jeff Sessions pulled all the consent decrees off of the police departments. I had the piece here. Here, I have it right here, actually. Here it is. This is from April 4th, 2017. Attorney General Jeff Sessions ordered a broad review of the Department of Justice agreements with law enforcement agencies nationwide. In a 2-page memo released on Monday, he directed his top deputies to review all law enforcement programs, including investigations and consent agreements with troubled police departments to ensure that departments' activities adhere to the Trump administration's goals of promoting police safety and morale. And he said, quote, "It's not the responsibility of the federal government to manage local police departments. The individual misdeeds of bad actors should not impugn the work of police officers and perform." And they pulled everything off, pulled it all off. So that was actually more measured from Maxine Waters than I would have anticipated, frankly.
And also, like, in addition to just the fact of Trump giving a sort of permission to people like racists to act out on their racism, in addition to like his sort of giving that permission, he also didn't he just start go around to police departments and gatherings of cops and tell them to knock some more heads together? Wasn't that literally a thing he did? Go talk to cops at various places and say time to get tough.
Yeah, there was that thing where he joked why do you put their head underneath? Just have them bang their head into the side of the car.
Yeah.
Or last night writing, when there's looting, we start shooting type of thing.
Yeah.
Literally on Twitter, but continue. Here's, I love how Hannity, if he's going to actually even in any way say that this is, that you got to feel sorry for Floyd's family, he has to start out by finding a black person to critique before he goes that far.
I mean, it's incredibly lazy, but it's the one go-to is like black woman politician is like just like the prime object of hate on Fox. And it's like really there's no reason that Maxine Waters interview, I hadn't seen anyone else talking about it. It made no impression or difference to anyone. It's literally just like, we got to find what Maxine Waters said. She's one of our characters.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And like, I've questioned in the past how much those consent decrees would actually do to tamp down on the power of the police to act with impunity, but certainly pulling them sends a very bad message.
Yeah.
Of treatment.
Predictable, sad. Colin Kaepernick has stepped into this, seems to be, my interpretation as I read his remarks, to be backing what's going on in Minneapolis, tweeting, "When civility leads to death, revolting is the only logical reaction." Rap star Cardi B claiming the people who are left with no choice. What? No choice what? To riot? To loot? What are you saying there? Now, using this incident to hurt others and fuel more hate and more division is unacceptable. It is putting an entire community in harm's way. There's no need to put more people's livelihoods in jeopardy. And if you don't want to listen to me, okay, how about listening and honoring George Floyd's family? His girlfriend telling the Star Tribune, quote, "Waking up this morning to see Minneapolis on fire would be something that would devastate Floyd."
So there it is.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. It's too stupid, really, even to comment on. I mean, like, just the fact of that quote too, it would devastate him. Like, yeah, it devastates me to see my hometown, but like, yeah, the fact of my being devastated does not mean I don't know. It's just stupid.
One could also ask, like, why isn't he here to be devastated by it?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if people set stuff on fire as a reaction to me being murdered, I would be pretty stoked. Apart from the fact that
depends on what they are setting on fire.
Sure,
I don't know.
Police station, good.
They did say, I did see like the Hennepin, one of the library branch was like, "We're fine." There was like a report someone had set a fire in the library, and the library was like, "No, we're good. No one touched the library. It's good for the library."
I mean, there's a lot of questions raised. I mean, certainly. I think we're going to find out more, hopefully, about that person who broke those windows at the AutoZone. And I would imagine if that person, maybe it's quite possible that person was just like randomly trying to, thought that breaking those things would be sufficient and they weren't off to do something else. But it's going to be interesting to see how much of what was done, it can really actually be attributed to protesters. But nevertheless, the anger is real. The frustration is real. It's going to grow. And it's the anger and frustration, if not necessarily, the specific acts that follow it are certainly justified. And that's what the nature of that type of anger and frustration is, that it lashes out, particularly when you have there is no mechanism in which to respond.
Right. There's no.
It's like MLK said, riots are the language of the unheard.
Yeah.
Surprised he didn't try and turn that one into a tweet too for that segment.
And
MLK would have been really upset about it.
When Hannity's like, they have no choice to do what? To riot? He couldn't think of another choice. He couldn't think of a choice. They like, what
exactly.
what are they going to do?
Oh, what? They couldn't go to the police? I mean, or what?
Maybe they should elect a bunch of liberal Democrats into every office in Minneapolis. Oh, like they already do that. Right.
Like that is the, he probably should have planned that out. Like, thank you for pulling the Maxine Waters clip and finding that. But also, could you get me like a list of what potential choices folks could have when they're being targeted and killed by police?
Right.
Just, I don't know, somebody.
I mean, it's what he's doing there is mystification, right? Because we know that this is political. It's political, it's racial, and it's economic. And he's trying to act like it's just, oh, one more bad apple doing something as an individual. Can't blame the system for that.
That is the one wonders, like, what is the only things that are allowed to be political are bathrooms that allow transgender people in them. And the idea that I guess maybe they're off the 2 men or 2 women getting married because that no longer has electoral salience for them. But then I think it's just also like, what we do with women's bodies. Those are the only areas that are appropriate to be political.
Yeah, that's the only thing you're allowed to politicize.
Things like the state repeatedly murdering people from a specific community. Nah, that's... Yeah, we don't want to politicize.
Let's not politicize the state monopoly on violence. I don't want to get political with that.